Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi. My name is Teresa and I got the rather recent Anastasia Beverly Hills Fall Romance palette. I was really excited when I saw this come out because the colour story is kind of different to anything they've done. Obviously there's purple in there, and that's what they do. But I wanted to kind of put this through its paces and see what I thought of it. So today is essentially just a tutorial and an overall review. There will be swatches on Swatching Sundays, so keep a little eye out for that, where we'll do it under lots of different lighting conditions so you can really see the shifts. But if this sounds like something you are interested in, a little tutorial and a review, then this is the video for you. Do please keep on watching. I think one of the things that you can really see from this is just how easily these shadows actually blend, because you know me lads, I'm lazy, I hate blending. It's kind of my thing. But this one is very, very nice to blend. The first thing I did was actually use this Cat Beauty brush. It's really nice, it's kind of tapered, brilliant for blending out. And went into this shade Leather. And I am so intrigued by this because it has this sort of like a very cool tone, almost contoury look to it. Now, as soon as you put the brush into the pan, you get a lot of like kick up. It is a very, very kind of like fine powder. So again, my general advice is pat it onto this so that you're not ending up with like a whole chunk of like powder all over your eye. I mean, it will disperse and it will blend, but like, let's just make our lives a little bit easier. So all I'm doing is just popping it into the inner corner here and just working it out. Straight off the bat, you get a lot of pigmentation here. Like, it is beautiful. But do you know what I really like about this? If you spend enough time on it, and by enough I mean enough for me, you actually start to see it kind of breaks down a little bit. So it really, really easily blends. So if you're like one, like me, who isn't into the blending, this is going to be really, really great for you. And I love that you can kind of diffuse things, like you can add, you can kind of subtract from it. I really like this. I think these are brilliant for like if you're doing grungy looks, like the formula is great for that. Look at that. I mean, I practically use that as a contour on my face to try and make me look like I'm skinny, which I'm not. Now, this is, by the way, essentially the lightest matte in the palette. It is very, very dark toned, which is quite interesting because, I mean, they've kind of received a lot of criticism over the last couple of years of having very like light toned palettes. So this is definitely not like what they would usually do. So I think that's quite interesting. I'm now taking this Morphe Jeffree Star brush. It's the JS12 and I'm going into the shade Ember. So this is essentially matte, but it has some glitter particles in it. But if I'm 100% honest, you'll kind of see that unless you're really packing it onto the eye, you don't really tend to get it. So if that's what you're really trying to achieve with that, this is not necessarily the colour for that. This shade is quite interesting next to the previous one, Leather, because this is much more warm toned. So it's quite interesting to kind of put the two of them together like this. As you can see, you don't really get a lot of the sparkle from this. So if you were really banking on that, unless you like smashed it onto your eye with like your finger, that just is not going to happen. So just in case that was like the reason why you'd be buying this palette, just maybe refrain from it because you'd end up being a bit disappointed. And my loves, my lights, I do not want that for you. Like, these are expensive palettes. I got this when it launched on the website itself and I wanted to play with this a lot earlier. But what happened was, and you might have seen, I got the Danessa Myricks Grindwork palette, and to be polite, it just wasn't good. And unfortunately, my eyes reacted really, really badly to it. In fact, they're still a little bit sore, and that's over a week later. But I can't not play with makeup any longer than that. Like, it's not fair for me. But I really wanted to play with this a lot earlier than what I have. So you can see, again, you're getting a lot of kind of warmth from this one. I'm now taking this P. Louise brush and I'm going into the shade Crimson. And as I said before, you're best to kind of tap it off onto like another surface, because otherwise you just get too much and it becomes a little bit unwieldy. But I mean, considering the shade of purple, you would think to yourself, Teresa, is this not going to be like really, really difficult to like blend out? Is it going to be patchy? It actually isn't. And look at the lovely kind of grungy autumnal loveliness that's adding to the brown. Oh, I really like this. Yes, it's a very, very simple look, but do you know what? I think that's what kind of these palettes are made for. You could do a structured look if you wanted to, but I think they're much better for when you're doing something a little bit more like grunge inspired. Not that this is full grunge now, I'm not good enough to do grunge, but I think this is the perfect palette for kind of giving that more of a go. So as you can see here, you can add it on and you get your pigment pretty much straight away, but it diffuses really, really easily, which is quite nice. Takes off a lot of pressure if you ever like stamp on too much. So you can see it does kind of add that little bit of additional depth here. And I really wanted to try out the mattes because I generally find that their mattes are like annoyingly good, you know, but you can see it disperses it quite nicely. The blend is really, really like quite easy. I like this, I gotta say. This has kind of just pleased me, particularly after my really sad Danessa experience. And now what I'm doing is taking a blank canvas E10. There's no shadow on this. And I want to really kind of disperse the shadow, particularly up here along the brow bone, so that it isn't quite as like annoyingly sharp. Because like I said, these shadows are kind of built to allow you to do that diffusion, so it isn't as like blocky. Like, and I don't want to have a block of eyeshadow on my face. I mean, it's a look, it's a whole thing, and Lord knows I've done it before, but like, just with this one, I wanted it to kind of mesh out into the, out, what way am I pronouncing things? I wanted it to mesh out a little bit more with the rest of the face, so it's a little bit more like seamless, or at least that's what I hoped for. We'll see if it actually went there, but I have to say, quite impressed with the way that these blend. So this is probably the shade that is lightest in the palette, and it is a sort of a shimmery metallic formula. It's called Smoke, and I'm going into that with the Inglosh 208. I love this brush. I need to get more of these, and I just want to kind of do the classic 2016 thing of kind of getting the inner tear duct almost. Although it's not the inner tear duct, it's actually like the inner eye. Like, don't put it into the tear duct. That will make you cry. And considering how sensitive my eyes have been since, well, you know, the thing, I am trying to be extra, extra careful. And yes, I have a little bit of, it might be fallout, but it also might be the fact that I am a terrible sleeper. So we won't actually kind of think about that too much. But you get a beautiful sort of a highlight in there. It's so pretty. I've probably put a little bit more over here than I did over here. Let's even that out. Yeah, that'll do. Now, the next thing I actually want to do is use my fingers, and I want to go into the shade Fireside, but also the shade Midnight. And you get really nice kind of pigment from the two of these. So all I'm doing is I'm putting Fireside kind of on the inside here. As I said, these do kind of like build up. You can allow them to kind of smoke out. So all I'm doing at the moment is tapping these on, and then I'm taking this Dew Color brush and just kind of sweeping from side to side. Now, full disclosure, I'm going to go in and out doing this several times because it does just disperse it everywhere, but I'm not going to show you all of that. I would say maybe do it 5 times, going in and out and kind of dispersing, just so you can have it be like a more gentle blend. But you don't need to see me going add, subtract, add, subtract, add, subtract. But I just want you guys to know that that's what I've done. So we're almost there. I'm taking this little Zoeva mini fan brush and I'm going into the shade Moonlight, and it's so pretty. Hold on, let me just, I mean, it's gorgeous. So I want to just very, very lightly kind of apply this here along the brow bone and just kind of going out a little bit, but I don't want it to be like super, super extreme either. I don't want it to be like this wabam of light, because you know how that looks like really, really harsh. I don't want that. This is looking, she's looking nice. And now I'm taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade Crown. Now this is a sort of a multi-chrome, and look, I couldn't resist. I was like, let's see how many of these we can smash on. And you get a decent amount of pigment from it, considering like I am literally just using a little blendy brush to put this on. But I do want to disperse it so it's not like a big streak. But she is so pretty. I'm now taking my Zoeva 225 and all I'm doing is taking Crimson and Midnight onto the same brush. I just tap it out a little bit and just put it onto the inner corner, or the outer corner rather. God, well done Teresa on not being able to pronounce things or say things. And just blend it out, because this is my favourite blendy. She's just fabulous. We do like her. I'm now just going to take a coloured rain brush and I just want to blend along here because I don't want it to be crazy, crazy harsh. Again, you can see how it blends out quite nicely. I might take a little bit more of Moonlight and just kind of pop that out there as well. And I'm just going to clean up the edge. We're almost done. And then the very last thing I'm doing is taking this Blend Bunny brush and I'm going into the shade Divine, which is frankly very, very aptly named. And I'm just kind of putting it underneath where I've kind of cut out so that we have this kind of fun pop of kind of a brighter purple. I just thought it was like a little bit more interesting to do it this way. Just thought it looked cute. Could be wrong. Who knows? And that's it. It was crazy, crazy simple, but I think it looks quite nice. And I'm going to finish off the rest of my face and we'll come back and see the full look all together. I somehow managed to refrain from putting on jewels. I am so surprised with myself. Is this personal growth? Possibly. Anyways, it's a very simple look, but what I will say is I have a load of lights on here and it's very, very hard to capture all of the metallics and duochromes, etc. So I will probably take you outside so you can see that a little bit better. But until then, I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see what this looks like. So you can see there, it has blended really, really easily. You can kind of see a little bit of the shift here. It's kind of grungy, but again, like I said, these lights kind of wash all of this out. But hopefully now that I've taken the glasses off, you can see that this is blended really, really well. There wasn't any kind of issue with it. I'm quite happy with it. I love how my idea was to bring this out into the natural light and it like has just started raining. But yeah, it is like raining a little bit, but I think you can make out the kind of shimmers and sparkles on this a little bit better. Also enjoy the ASMR of the rain. I'm hoping that that little video of the eye look outside also helped to kind of give you a little bit more context. But let's discuss what I thought of this palette. I used quite a bit of it, to be fair. I used 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the 12 shades, so we'll say 2/3. That's pretty darn good. I will say, I think this is really, really nice. The pigment is definitely there. You have to build it up, which I think is really, really great if you're a little bit nervous. If you're going for more grungy looks, this is kind of perfect for it. I really liked this. Kind of surprising that there aren't a lot of light shades in it. It is very kind of like mid-toned. You don't have a lot of like depth in here. You kind of have to create that yourself. Do I necessarily feel that this is a standalone palette? Yes, depending on what it is that you're doing. But I think for a few people, they may kind of struggle with this. If you like the previous ABH formula, I think you will enjoy this. Now, my one critique is actually the packaging itself, because it's kind of a suede-y, velvety thing, which, I don't like. I'm already getting like dust particles and bits on it, and it hasn't been out that long. I'm kind of surprised they did that because they had kind of shifted into kind of slightly more different packaging over the last couple of releases. And I mean, they kind of got, I won't say rinsed for that with like Modern Renaissance, but like people didn't love that. So if you're like me and you're a little bit sensory, this mightn't be the thing for you just on that, literally. What do I think of the shadows themselves? Beautiful. Really, really nice. Fabulously pigmented, really, really buildable, really workable. Depending upon who you are, you may find this to be a great standalone, and then for other people, you may want to have like lighter shades in there. But I will say, ABH has that back catalogue of lighter shades in there. So I think like you could mix this with like say the Norvina or even the ABH Modern Renaissance as well, and you could get something nice out of this. I liked it. Really, really did like it. Now, it is expensive. It's €62 on ABH's own website. I will link everything down below. They will have like a little asterisk next to it to indicate that it's an affiliate link, so keep that in mind. It is expensive. It is expensive. Do I think that you should pay full price for it? No, but I don't think anyone should pay full price for anything. And that's the stage of life that I'm in. But what I will say is, if you like this colour story, and you like ABH's formula as they've done it in the recent past, like with their Cosmos, etc., you're going to really enjoy this. You will. It's a really, really, really nice formula. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm taking marks off because of the packaging. It's going to get dirty really, really easily. And as a collector, that kind of like drives me a little bit insane. But also the tism in me is like, ugh, the feeling of the velvet just kind of gives me a little bit of the ick. I'm taking another kind of point off. So that was half a point. I'm taking another point off just because for some people, they're going to struggle to make this a colour story for themselves. They may have to dip into other palettes. And I think, you know, for paying that amount of money, you kind of want something a little bit more. But for me, I was totally fine with making a look out of it. I think it is stunning. Yeah. And I think 8.5 is quite fair for this. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of this particular video. Do keep an eye out, as I said, for Swatching Sundays, where I will be showing this particular palette under lots of different lights so you can actually see what it looks like. But that is the end of the video. Do please like, comment and subscribe. All of these things help out this teeny tiny channel so much, and I hugely appreciate it. I do attempt to respond to every single comment, so please know it is very, very appreciated. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case just wrap it up, don't be gross. But that's it, that's the end of the video, and I will see you guys in the new one. Bye.